Welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers, your favorite digital and social evangelist podcast, with your industry veteran hosts, Michael Sandoval and Chris Tetzel. This podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Peers Over Beers. My name is Chris Tetzel. Today I'm with a heavy heart. I'm on video today. I'm also on audio, but if you can check out our YouTube, that'd be great. But I am with a heavy heart today. My good friend, my mentor, person that taught me almost everything I know about online community, Michael Sandoval, has passed away today. I've probably cried, I don't know, at least 5 or 7 times today, and had to run 10 miles today just to get my head. It's not really right, but it's a tough day. This guy taught me, like I said, all things community. It's funny is we would meet almost every single Friday for an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. I think we'd spend the first 15, 20 minutes just catching up, seeing how life is going, seeing how his girlfriend was doing, his family was doing, how my wife's doing, and what I've been doing, with running and traveling, and same with him. It was a lot of fun to always catch up beforehand, and then I'd say, all right, what do you want to talk about today? And we'd kind of go with some topics. It's funny because the reason we started this podcast, I remember when I worked at a company called Rexel. By the way, I'm wearing my first online community called The Grid, but my shirt. So if you're watching, you'll see that. That's the one we created together. A lot of fun, really hard. But I remember after I left Rexel, I was like, what am I going to do without a Michael Sandoval? Oh my God, because I had to go build these online communities alone. And I thought about that for a long time. I was like, what I can do is I could see if he wants to do a podcast. I've never done a podcast before. I wasn't sure I was going to take it, because he's busy. He's not, but I knew that, if you know Michael, you'll know that when you text him, he doesn't always answer. He just forgets. He doesn't always check, but I knew if I could get him kind of, committed to something, he might do it, but I wasn't sure. And so I sent him, I think I called him, a few months after Rexel. It's probably 5, 6 months after I left, and then finally he left. And I said, "Hey, man, do you want to do a podcast?" He was like, "Yeah, I want to do a podcast." I was like, "Oh, really?" It's when he lived here in Dallas. It's like, "Well, let's do it." And man, he got right on top of it. He got the website and everything else, and I got this thing called Zencaster that allows us to record and do things like that. It's pretty cool. And we started. I went over to his house. He had all this stuff set up, this nice, um, mic and this whole soundboard and everything else. And he brought out snacks like meats and cheeses and beer. We did call it Peers Over Beers and all this stuff. It was crazy. I think we met also before that. We met at a bar and we kind of talked about how we want to lay it out. But the first episode that we did was at his house and with some beers. And I was quite tipsy. If I had a beer today, I would get it and cheers to him. But I didn't have a beer today. So the story really was I just wanted to be close to Michael at the end of the day, and and I really valued his friendship. I also know he knew a ton about online community management, about strategy, tactics, all those things. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do without him if he didn't do it. And I was so glad that he did. And I think we have, including this one, will be 70 episodes. And so, it was a nice run. It was good. And I again, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had such a nice career in community management. It's really cool. to see. I owe him a lot. And he was patient. He was a good guy. And I was talking to my wife today about it, and she goes, Chris, you kind of you kind of living that memory, or not living the memory, but basically she was saying, people come to you and always ask for help. And I try to help new community managers. There's two or three people I'm trying to help today. And that just came to me, and I was like, yeah, let's get on the phone. Let's talk about it. And I kind of do that because one, um, I remember Michael saying to me one time, because Chris, he goes, I just love helping people and seeing them succeed. Because it is a legacy on him, right? Like you look at kind of the people that he's produced, or mentored or helped. He's seen a lot of those people move on to bigger and better careers, either in online community or digital or something like that. And you know, he did that for me as well. And so I try to give back in some of that way, um, because of him. And I want to see the community managers become community leaders and then help others to do that. The space is hard, and it still stresses me out, to be honest. The higher up I go, the more people trust me, the more stressful it becomes. But I think that's okay. It is what it is on that. But man, I owe that man a lot. And I just can't say enough words that express my gratitude for what he's done for me in my life, professionally, but also personally. You know, um, he was a great man, and it just tears me up inside to do this podcast right now. But he did pass away. He was 47, and oh, I had a conversation with him right before Christmas, and I think he told me he went to the hospital and had some stuff going on, but he was fine, nothing's wrong. And I said, dude, just get better, take care of yourself. He said, I'm trying, man. I was like, gosh, I never thought I would hear the words today, this morning from his girlfriend, that he passed away. So, um, this is a tribute to Michael Sandoval, and to our last together, peers over beers. Not exactly sure, where this podcast will go. If I'll just kind of leave this here and start something else, probably we'll do something for sure. A lot of people have reached out and said, you know, um, they're so sorry and everything else, and I appreciate that. But this guy, I'm telling you, he was a legend. He just was just so smart about this stuff. He did tons of research all the time. He remembered everything he said, and he would tell me all the things that he could. And a lot of times I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but I tried to listen. But I just think he was so at another level, you know, and I love that. And a lot of times when we got on this podcast, peers over beers, I would be like, dude, I'm going through this content strategy, or I'm going through this, I'm talking to leaders and I'm not sure what to say to these guys. What do you think? And he would tell me, or talk about engagement strategy, and get stressed out about this kind of stuff. Help me understand how to do this. And he would. Our last couple episodes that we did, it was around actually trying to get buy-in for resources and things like that. He went through this whole kind of he built this whole spreadsheet for me. I mean, he did it for you guys too, but it was. I mean, the guy was so giving with his time, with his um, wisdom. The guy just had so much of it, and I appreciate that about him. I'm not gonna prolong this podcast anymore, but Michael, he was a great man, great leader, great mentor, great friend. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Michael. And thank you for everyone that listened to these podcasts. It's meant a lot to me. So Till next time.